Hare Krishna, Prabhu Hare Krishna. Is it audible?
Very low, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
It's audible but very low, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Is it okay now?
Slightly better, Prabhuji.
Okay. Anybody likes to read this one? 17.
Read it, Prabhuji. I am totally dependent on Guru and Krishna to chant quality japa every day. Remind yourself that your efforts to chant the Maha Mantra more effectively attract the mercy of Guru and Krishna. When you endeavor to improve your japa, Guru and Krishna reciprocate by helping you improve in the ways you are endeavoring to. In other words, mercy comes in proportion to your efforts. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Last line is important. Mercy comes in proportion to your efforts. Yeah. Totally dependent on Guru and Krishna to chant quality japa every day. Yeah. Yeah. See, when you endeavor, that means the effort we put in for improving our japa. Guru and Krishna reciprocate by helping you improve in the ways you are endeavoring to. So mercy comes slowly, ultimately we will be able to control our mind and try to focus on.
The voice is low, probably. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, it's a bit okay, love, but still, if you can increase.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Takuli, bro, your voice.
Headphones volume increase cheyalema, Prabhuji.
Yes, sir. 100.
But without headphones every day, it was clearer.
Yeah.
Is headphone decent? Hare Krishna.
It's better, Prabhuji.
Better, huh?
Better, but it's not to the fullest volume like every day, but it's audible, no problem.
Full only, 100 choose okay. Yeah. So again, it depends on Guru and Krishna's mercy. Chant the holy names of the Lord. We have to put in endeavor in any way in material life also. Unless we put efforts, nothing will be achieved. The same way in spiritual life also, we have to please by our efforts. So slowly and eventually, our mind is going to be controlled with the mercy of Guru and Krishna. See, quality japa is very important. Some devotees, they chant, one round for 10 minutes. Slowly, every word, try to focus and hear. Speed also fine, but are we hearing properly? Holy name, that's important. Are we focusing on the holy name? Are we hear properly for each syllable? That's what. So we have to pray, we have to take, we have to endeavor for it, to try to follow the process seriously. Yeah. Dependent, yeah, we are always dependent on Guru and Krishna. Depend Depend. Slowly, by see the effort we are putting, they are watching actually how my devotee is working, how my devotee is serving. So yeah, let us start with the Mangalacharana prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Madhyantamiraandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshaparine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, entitled as Creation, Chapter 7, entitled as The Son of Drona Punished. So we are at 12th verse. Yeah, Mata, you can start from you. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
Prabhuji.
Mata, yeah, you can start.
Translation. Suta Goswami thus addressed the rishis headed by Shaunaka. Now I shall begin the transcendental narration of Lord Sri Krishna and topics of birth, activities, and deliverance of King Parikshit, the sage amongst kings, as well as topics of the renunciation of the worldly order by purport. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lord Krishna is so kind to the fallen souls that he personally incarnates himself amongst the different kinds of living entities and takes with their activities. Any historical fact, old or new, which has a connection with the activities of the Lord is to be understood as a transcendental narration of the Lord. Without Krishna, all the supplementary literatures like the Puranas and Mahabharata are simply stories or historical facts. But with Krishna, they become transcendental, and when we hear of them, we at once become transcendently related with the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam is also a Purana, but the special significance of this Purana is that the activities of the Lord are central and not just supplementary historical facts. Srimad Bhagavatam is thus recommended by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the spotless Purana. There is a class of less intelligent devotees of the Bhagavata Purana who desire to relish at once the activities of the Lord narrated in the 10th canto without first understanding the primary cantos. They are under the false impression that the other cantos are not concerned with Krishna, and thus more foolishly than intelligently, they take to the reading of the 10th canto. These readers are specifically told herein that the other cantos of the Bhagavatam are as important as the 10th canto. No one should try to go into the matters of the 10th canto without having thoroughly understood the purport of the other 9 cantos. Krishna and his pure devotees like the Pandavas are on the same plane. Krishna is not without his devotees of all the rasas, and the pure devotee like the Pandavas are not without Krishna. The devotees and the Lord are interlinked and they cannot be separated. Therefore, talks about them are all Krishna Katha or topics of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Samyukta Mata, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. When the respective warriors of both camps, namely the Kauravas and the Pandavas, were killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and the dead warriors obtained their deserved destinations, and when the son of Dhritarashtra fell down lamenting, his spine broken, being beaten by the club of Bhimasena, the son of Dronacharya Ashwadhama beheaded the 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi and delivered the heads as a prize to his master, foolishly thinking that he would be pleased. Duryodhana, however, disapproved of the heinous act, and he was not pleased in the least. Purport: Transcendental topics of the activities of Lord Sri Krishna in the Srimad Bhagavatam begin from the end of the battle at Kurukshetra, where the Lord himself spoke about himself in the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, both the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are transcendental topics of Lord Krishna. The Gita is Krishna Katha or topics of Krishna because it is spoken by the Lord, and the Bhagavatam is also Krishna Katha because it is spoken about the Lord. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted everyone to be informed of both Krishna Kathas by his order. Lord Krishna Chaitanya is Krishna himself in the garb of a devotee of Krishna, and therefore the versions of both Lord Krishna and Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are identical. Lord Chaitanya desired that all who are born in India seriously understand such Krishna Kathas and then after full realization preach the transcendental message to everyone in all parts of the world that will bring about the desired peace and prosperity of the stricken world. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, thank you. Bhagavata and Bhagavad Gita. By Krishna, about Krishna. Bhagavad Gita is by Krishna, Bhagavatam is about Krishna. Kinchan Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Kinchan Prabhu. No. Still voice low, no? Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji voice clear ga nahi Prabhuji.
Your voice is coming, Prabhuji.
Okay. Kinchan Prabhu, are you there?
Yes,
Teacher.
Prabhuji. Yes.
Please go ahead. Read this.
You are reading Mataji? Deepa Mataji?
You go ahead. Go ahead. You read.
Okay. Draupadi, the mother of 5 children of the Pandavas, after hearing the massacre of her sons, began to cry in distress with the eyes full of tears. Trying to pacify her in her great loss, Arjuna spoke to her thus.
Read it. Read it.
O gentle lady, will I present you with the head of that Brahmana after beheading him with arrows from my Ghandiva bow? I shall then wipe the tears from your eyes and pacify you. Then, after burning your sons and bodies, you can take bath standing on his head. Purport: an enemy who sets fire to the house, administers poison, attacks all of the sudden with the deadly weapons, plunders wealth or usurps agriculture fields, or entices one's wife is the greatest aggressor. His wife is called El Aggressor. Such El Aggressor, though through the Brahmana are so called son of Brahmana, as to be punished in all circumstances. When Arjuna promised to behead the aggressor named Ashwathama, he knew well that Ashwathama was the son of Brahmana, but because the so-called Brahmana acted like a butcher, he was taken as much. And there was no question of sin in killing such Brahmana's son, who proved to be a villain.
Yeah. About Ashwatthama. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Aryan Prabhu or Pravi Prabhu?
Yes, Roji, Hare Krishna. Arjuna, who was guided by the infallible Lord as friend and driver, thus satisfied the dear lady by such statements. Then he dressed in armor and armed himself with furious weapons, and getting into his chariot, he set out to follow Ashwathama, the son of his martial teacher.
Read this.
Ashwathama,
Go ahead.
Ashwathama, the murderer of the princess, seeing from a great distance Arjuna coming at him with great speed, fled in his chariot, panic-stricken, just to save his life, as Brahma fled in fear from Shiva. Purport: according to the reading matter, either Ka or Arka, there are 2 references in the Puranas. Kha means Brahma, who once became allured by his daughter and began to follow her, which infuriated Shiva, who attacked Brahma with his trident. Brahmaji fled in fear of his life. As far as Arkha is concerned, there is a reference in the Vamana Purana. There was a demon by the name Mali who was gifted with a glowing golden airplane which traveled to the back of the sun, and night disappeared because of the glowing effulgence of this plane. Thus the sun god became angry, and with his virulent rays he melted the plane. This enraged Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva then attacked the sun god, who fled away and at last fell down at Kashi, Varanasi, and the place became famous as Lolarka. Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Names, different names. Thank you, Prabhu. I have seen Sandhya Mata. You want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Please go ahead. Read.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When the son of Brahmana, Ashwatthama, saw that his horses were tired, he considered that there was no alternative for protection outside of his using the ultimate weapon, the Brahmastra nuclear weapon. Purport. In the ultimate issue only, when there is no alternative, the nuclear weapon called the Brahmastra is applied. The word Dvijatmajaha is significant here because Ashwatthama, although the son of Dronacharya, was not exactly a qualified Brahmana. The most intelligent man is called a Brahmana, and it is not a hereditary title. Ashwatthama was also formerly called the Brahma Bandhu, or the friend of Brahmana. Being a friend of a Brahmana does not mean that one is a Brahmana by qualification. A friend or son of a Brahmana, when fully qualified, can be called a Brahmana and not otherwise. Since Ashwatthama's decision is immature, he is purposely called hearing the son of a Brahmana.
Thank you, Mata. Let me read this. Translation for Professor Prabhupada Ki Jai. Since his life was in danger, he touched water in sanctity and concentrated upon the chanting of the hymns for throwing nuclear weapons. Although he did not know how to withdraw such weapons, purport. The subtle forms of material activities are finer than grosser methods of material manipulation. Such subtle forms of material activities are effected through purification of sound. The same method is adopted here by chanting hymns to act as nuclear weapons. Before releasing the Brahmastra, he prayed the mantras. Yeah. We don't know how to withdraw. That is a problem. So that's where Krishna is helping. Yeah. Read Mata again. Deepama.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Shall I read Prabhuji? Ram.
Yeah. Ram Reddy Prabhu, please go ahead. Read.
Thank you. Translation by His Holy Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thereupon a glaring light spread in all directions. It was so fierce that Arjuna thought his own life in danger, and so he began to address Lord Shri Krishna.
You can read this one also, Prabhu.
Sure, Prabhuji. Translation. Arjuna said, "O my Lord Shri Krishna, you are the almighty personality of Godhead. There is no limit to your different energies. Therefore, only you are competent to instill fearlessness in the hearts of your devotees. Everyone in the flame of material miseries can find the path of liberation in you only." Shall I read purport, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
Arjuna was aware of the transcendental qualities of Lord Shri Krishna, as he had already experienced them during the Kurukshetra war, in which both of them were present. Therefore, Arjuna's version of Lord Krishna is authoritative. Krishna is almighty and is especially the cause of fearlessness for the devotees. A devotee of the Lord is always fearless because of the protection given by the Lord. Material existence is something like a blazing fire in the forest, which can be extinguished by the mercy of the Lord Shri Krishna. The spiritual master is the mercy representative of the Lord. Therefore, a person burning in the flames of material existence may receive the rains of mercy of the Lord through the transparent medium of the self-realized spiritual master. The spiritual master, by his words, can penetrate into the heart of the suffering person and inject knowledge transcendental, which alone can extinguish the fire of material existence. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
That's where we'll start anyway. When we start any class or any transcendental topic, we start with Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Knowledge. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Right? We are taking blessings of Guru. Then we start our readings. Yeah. And then Deepamata, please continue. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Translation. You are the original personality of Godhead who expand himself. You have cast away the effects of the material energy by dint of your spiritual potency. You are always situated in eternal bliss and transcendental knowledge. Purport. The Lord states in Bhagavad Gita that one who surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Lord can get released from the clutches of nescience. Krishna is just like the sun, and Maya or material existence is just like darkness. Wherever there is light of the sun, darkness or ignorance at once vanishes. The best means to get out of the world of ignorance is suggested here. The Lord is addressed herein as the original personality of Godhead. From him, all other personalities of Godhead expand. The all-pervasive Lord Vishnu is Lord Krishna's plenary portion or expansion. The Lord expands himself in innumerable forms of Godhead and living beings, along with his different energies. But Sri Krishna is the original primeval Lord from whom everything emanates. The all-pervasive feature of the Lord experienced within the manifested world is also a partial representation of the Lord. Paramatma, therefore, is included within him. He is the absolute personality of Godhead. He has nothing to do with the actions and reactions of the material manifestation because he is far from the material creation. Darkness is a perverse representation of the sun, and therefore the existence of darkness depends on the existence of the sun. But in the sun, no trace of darkness, as the sun is full of light only. Similarly, the absolute personality of Godhead beyond the material existence is full of bliss. He is not only full of bliss, but also full of transcendental variegatedness. Transcendence is not at all static, but full of dynamic variegatedness. He is distinct from the material nature, which is complicated by the three modes of material nature. He is Parama, or the chief. Therefore, he is absolute. He has manifold energies, and through his diverse energies, he creates, manifests, maintains, and destroys the material world. In his own abode, however, everything is eternal and absolute. The world is not conducted by the energies or powerful agents by themselves, but by the potent, all-powerful with all energies. Hare Krishna.
Great. Yeah. You can read Mother, submit the Mother. We'll read another 5 hours.
Yes, Prabhuji. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. And yet, though you are beyond the purview of the material energy, you execute the four principles of liberation characterized by religion and so on for the ultimate good of the conditioned souls. Purport. The personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, descends to the manifested world without being influenced by the material modes of nature. He is eternally beyond the material manifestations. He descends out of his causeless mercy only to reclaim the fallen souls who are captivated by the illusory energy. They are attacked by material energy and they want to enjoy her under false pretext, although in essence of the living entity is unable to enjoy. One is eternally the servitor of the Lord, And when he forgets this position, he thinks of enjoying the material world, but factually he is in illusion. The Lord descends to eradicate this false sense of enjoyment and thus reclaim conditioned souls back to Godhead. That is the all merciful nature of the Lord for the fallen souls. Hare Krishna.
Sandhya Mataji, please.
Prabhuji, I will be in hearing mode. Actually, I came outside. I got down from the car actually.
Kincham Prabhu, please read.
Translation. Thus you descend as an incarnation to remove the burden of the world and to benefit your friends, especially those who are your exclusive devotees and constantly wrapped in meditation upon you. But it appears that the Lord is partial to his devotees. Everyone is related with the Lord. He is equal to everyone, and yet he is more inclined to his whole will and devotees. The Lord is everyone's father. No one can be his father, and yet no one can be his son. His devotees are his kinsmen, and his devotees are his relations. This is his transcendental pastime. It has nothing to do with the mundane ideas of relations, fatherhood, or anything like that. As mentioned above, the Lord is above the modes of material nature, and thus there is nothing mundane about his kinsmen and relations in devotional service.
Thank you. Aryan Prabhu.
Yes, Roji. O Lord of Lords, how is it that this dangerous effulgence is spreading all around? Where does it come from? I do not understand it. Purport. Anything that is presented before the personality of Goddess should be so done after due presentation of respectful prayers. This is the standard procedure, and Sri Arjuna, although an intimate friend of the Lord, is observing this method for general information. Hare Krishna, Roji.
Ramreddy Prabhu, want to read? We'll conclude with this verse.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Know from me that this is the act of the son of Drona. He has thrown the hymns of nuclear energy, Brahmastra, and he does not know how to retract the glare. He has helplessly done this, being afraid of imminent death." Purport. The Brahmastra is similar to the modern nuclear weapon manipulated by atomic energy. The atomic energy works wholly on total combustibility, and so the Brahmastra also acts. It creates an intolerable heat similar to atomic radiation. But the difference is that the atomic bomb is a gross type of nuclear weapon, whereas the Brahmastra is a subtle type of weapon produced by chanting hymns. It is a different science, and in the days gone by, such science was cultivated in the land of Bharatavarsha. The subtle science of chanting hymns is also material, but it has yet to be known by the modern material scientists. Subtle material science is not spiritual, but it has a direct relationship with the spiritual method, which is still subtler. A chanter of hymns knew how to apply the weapon as well as how to retract it. That was perfect knowledge. But the son of Dronacharya, who made use of this subtle science, did not know how to retract. He applied it, being afraid of his imminent death. And thus the practice was not only improper, but also irreligious. As the son of a Brahmana, he should not have made so many mistakes. And for such gross negligence of duty, he was to be punished by the Lord himself. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Stop here. Thank you very much, Guru. Thank you for all of you spending time and reading Bhagavatam. So, Let's go to recitations. Let me open. Again, Bhakti Shastri. Shastri. We are all Bhakti Shastri graduates sooner than later. Anyone likes to recite? Last time, it's been 2 days ago. 2 verses we practiced. Today we'll go to other 3 verses. Actually, chapter by chapter we'll see. 9th chapter there are 7 verses. 8th chapter 2 verses. 7th chapter 3 verses. 10th chapter, and 7, 8, 9, and 10th chapter 2 verses. Total 14 verses. We have to practice. And these are only for exam purpose. Actually, there are another frequently used, frequently quoted verses also there. That's not part of our Bhakti Shastra. These are some kind of trickies there in these verses. No, we need to practice nicely. Yeah. Anybody likes to read, recite, and do the translation for these 2 slokas? Last time we read. Hare Krishna. Mataji is Prabhuji. Recite by looking. Are you able to see my screen now?
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
अपरेयम् इतस्त्वन्यं प्रकृतिं विद्धि मे परां जीवभूतां महाबाहो ययेदं धार्यते जगत्. Translation: Besides these, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. दैवी हेषा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्यया मामेव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायाम एताम तरन्ति ते. Translation: This divine energy of mind, consisting of the 3 modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you. Hare Prabhu. Hare Krishna. 7.5. Apareyam itastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho yedam dharyate jagat. Besides this, O mighty Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. 7.14. Daivi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mamaeva prapadyante mayametam tarantite. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the 3 modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. One more time we'll decide, then we'll go to new verses. Please, Haribol.
Can I read, Prabhuji, or is it only Bhakti Shastri students?
Please, yes.
Prabhuji? Okay. Can I
Recite,
read, Prabhuji?
Recite, why not? Recite.
Yeah. Apareyam itasthvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho yeyedham dharyate jagat. Translation: Besides these, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind, which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. Daivi hesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. Translation: This divine energy of mind, consisting of the 3 modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Let us go to 7.19. So please repeat after me. Okay. First line, then second time 2 lines, and third time complete verse. Then later we'll all decide on one devotee, one Mataji, one Prabhuji. Bahunam janmanamante
Bahunam janmanamante
jnanavan mam prapadyate
Jnanavan mam prapadyate
Vasudeva sarvamiti
Vasudeva Sarvamiti
Tam Mahatma Sudurlabha
Samatma Sudarlabha
Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate.
Bahunam
Bahula
janmanamante
Janmanamante Jalva Valva Prabhadyate
Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha.
Vasudeva Sarvamiti Vasavatma Sudurlabha.
Let me recite complete this. Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, after translation, you can recite. After many births and deaths, he who is actually knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. So one Prabhu, one Mata, please recite. Okay.
I'll try, Prabhuji.
Right.
Bahunam janmanamante Jnanavan mam prapadyate Vasudeva sarvam iti sa mahatma sudurlabha. Translation: After many births and death, he is who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Hare Krishna.
Bahula Jalvalavante Gyala Valva Pravadyate Vasudeva Sarvam Iti Savahatma Sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare.
Yeah. Another 2 hours will do now. Okay. So next time onwards, tomorrow onwards, we'll do all the 5 verses. We'll see. Now 8.5. Antakale cha mameva
Antakale cha mameva
Smaran Muktva Kalevaram
Smaran mukta kale
Prayati Samadbhavam
Ye prayati savadbhavam
Yati Nastyatra Samshaya.
Yati lati atra samshaya.
Antakale cha mameva Smaran Muktva Kalevaram
Antakale cha mameva
Smaran
kalevaram
Kalevaram
Prayati Samadbhavam Yati Nastyatra Samshaya.
Yaprayati
Ya
samadbhavam
prayati
yati nastyatra
savadbhavam
samshaya.
Yati lati atra samshaya.
Translation and sloka recitation, translation. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram ya prayati samadbhavam yati nastyatya samshayah. Translation: and whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. Yeah. One Prabhu, one Mata. Please recite.
Antakale cha mameva Smaran Kalevaram Ya prayati savadbhavam Yati nasti atra samshaya. And whoever at the end of the life quits his body, remembering me alone at once, attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt.
Yes.
Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samshaya. Translation: and whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Yes. Abrahma Bhuvanarloka
Abrahma Bhuvanaloka
Punaravartino Arjuna
Punaravartino Arjuna
Mamupetya Kaunteya
Mam Upetyatu Kaunteya
Janmana Vidyate
Pularjanmana Vidyate
Abrahma Bhuvanarloka Punaravartino Arjuna
Abrahma Bhuvanaloka
Avartino Arjuna
Mamupetya Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate.
Mam Upetyatu Kaunteya Pularjanmana Vidyate.
Will do complete. Abrahma Bhuvanarloka Punaravartino Arjuna Mamupetyatu Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. Translation. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. The one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. Again, one Prabhu, one Mata.
Abrahma Bhuvanaloka Pular Avartino Arjuna Mam Upatiya tu Kaunteya Pular Jalmana Vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are the places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again.
Others.
Abrahma Bhuvanaloka Punar Avartino Arjuna Mam Upetyatu Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. Translation. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, another 2 minutes. Actually, I want to do all these 5 verses, and one Mataji please help. Okay, Deepa Mata, you can have 5 verses, no? We'll do and we'll wrap up. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yes, I'll do for all these 5. Apareyam itastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat. Besides this, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this world, material inferior nature. 7.14 Daiviyesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya mami evaye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. This divine energy of mind consisting of the 3 modes of material nature is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. 7.19 Bahunam janma namante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudevam sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. 8.5 Antakale cha mamiva smaran mutva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samshayaha. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this, there is no doubt. 8.16 Abrahma Bhuvanarloka Punaravartino Arjuna Mamupetyatu Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death takes place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. Haribol. 5 verses. 7th chapter and 8th chapter, 5 verses. Okay, Mother. You can read. You can do that.
7.5 Apareyam itastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat. Translation. Besides these, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. 7.14 Daivi hesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante maya metam taranti te. Translation: This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. 7.19 Bahunam janmana mante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. Translation: After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. 8.5 Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samshaya. Translation: And whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. 8.16 Brahma bhuvana loka punar avartinor Arjuna mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. Translation: From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So we'll do like this: 7th chapter, 3 verses; 8th chapter, 2 verses. Total 5 verses. So tomorrow, this week we'll complete like this. Next week we'll pick it up with 9th chapter. There are 7 verses. Like that we'll practice. Thank you. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Reading ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Nitai Gaur Hari Premanande. Hari Hari
Hari
Bol.
Hari Bol.
Thank you very much. See you.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.